Before I get started with this video, I do just want to make a quick announcement saying that Billy O'Neill is leaving the club in the summer, so this video is not necessarily applicable for the summer. We will need to find a replacement. But until then, for the rest of this winter period, enjoy the video. If Bray play with this lineup, we will win the league. So this is the lineup that I think we should play if we want to start challenging for the title, start challenging Cork City, as we currently sit in second, so it's definitely doable. As of the time of recording this, we're about 5 points behind Cork, I believe. So we can definitely challenge for this title, but we need a strong and consistent lineup to do that. Because the problem we've had at the moment is our lineups has just been they've been changed every single week. There hasn't really been a consistent lineup. Like one week we might have Tyreek Sammy up top, the next we might have Daniel Ring, or in defence, one week we might have Mark Chitty, then the next we might have Declan Osagi. Don't get me wrong, they're all great footballers, but if we want them to start getting into some good runs of form, especially the two strikers, we need to be getting a bit of consistency going with the lineup, because our strikers themselves haven't been overly consistent yet. Like, Tyreek Sammy has scored some good goals, definitely, but we need to see more from him, and we need to see more from Daniel Ring as well. And the only way we can do that is if they're starting games consistently. We can't really have them just interchanging in positions every single game. I don't think it's going to work. Now, look, I'm not Paul Heffernan, I'm not a football coach. He knows much better than I do. He's much more knowledgeable on the coaching position and on the lineups than I am. He trains those players every week. He knows how they play in and out. I don't. But here is my opinion. Here's the lineup that I think will win us the league. So of course, like I said, I'm not going to be as knowledgeable as someone like Paul Heffernan or Graham Kelly, someone who knows these players inside and out. But there are definitely a few players that should be starting every week, and there are some players that are starting every week and definitely deserves to be starting every week, but there's some players that I would personally like to see starting every week as well. So starting off in goals is obviously going to be Jimmy Corcoran. At right back, I'd like to see Alan Gazzaniga start every week, as he does seem to be doing. Centre backs, the pair I'd like to see there is Mark Chitty and Declan Osagi. At left back then, I'm going to go here for Ryan Kelly. Now, I can definitely see Dean O'Shea coming in and playing that position as well, because he has been very solid for us as well, but I think Ryan Kelly, with the form he's currently in, I think he should be starting. He's one of the iffy ones. I don't know if he should be starting every single week, but I think I'd start him out every single week just to see how it goes, and we can always bring on Dean O'Shea afterwards if needs be. Then in central defensive midfield, that'll be Sean Brennan. Now I know he's not a CDM, but I think that seems to be where we play him a lot, so that's where I would play him as well. Is that the position that suits him? I don't think so. I think he's definitely more of an attacking player, but he seems to do well every time he plays CDM, so I think we keep him there because I don't think we currently have a defensive midfielder to play in that role. Now, the two attacking midfielders, you can kind of switch them up a bit again, but I would be starting Richard Ferrajai and Cian Doyle. Richard Ferrajai is another one that I feel like you could kind of swap out a little bit. I think there'd be a bit of competition between him and Ben McCormack. I think Ben McCormack is in really good form at the moment, but Richard Ferrajai as well has also scored 2 goals. So, you know, it's tough to call. As of right now, as of recording this video right after the Kerry match, they're both the top goal scorer. They're both on 2 goals, and they're fighting for that position competitively. So once again, I feel like that's not really a place where I can say he should be starting over him. I think it's more, let them fight it out, see who does better going into the second half of the season, and figure it out from there. Now this one, once again, a little bit confusing here, because if you look at our strikers, at the moment, they're kind of struggling a bit. I know that Tyreek Sammy has scored a few goals, and that's great. You love to see it. We love to see our strikers scoring goals. That's what they're there for. But at the same time, they're struggling a little bit for form. They're not scoring week in, week out. So I feel like we need to switch it up a little bit. And I know I've said Leon Kyo in the past, but I think I'd like to see either Achara or O'Neill start up top, see how that goes, because I know O'Neill has played a little bit in the past, striker, for last season, so I think that could work out well. And Achara as well, I'd like to see him play striker. I think he was striker for the Kerry game, was he? And then I think he was playing up top for the Kerry game with Tyreek Sammy on the left side. It could have been swapped. That could be Achara on the left and Sammy up top either. I'm not exactly sure. What it looked to me though was Sammy on the left and Achara up top. And I've no complaints with that. Although I do think that Achara seems to be better suited to be playing in the wide positions, because you saw his goal or his assist, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, 2 weeks ago. The assist for Richard Ferrigite, where he brought it out to the back line of where the goal line was basically, and flicked it back in, or like brought it back in, cut in to give it to Ferrigite for him to just finish it off. So I think he does kind of suit wing play a little bit more. But at the same time, so does Billy O'Neill. He plays really well on the wing. But I think just the fact that he has played striker a little bit last season could help him there. So I'd like to see either O'Neill or Achara striker. For now, I'm going to put O'Neill at striker and Achara on the right. And then lastly, I'd like to see Eme Azende Niembo play on the left. Why? Because I think, once again, in the Kerry game, he was phenomenal. Now, he was on the right for that game, but he played really, really well. I'd love to see him start on the wing even more. I think even he could play on the right wing and have Achara on the left and O'Neill up top. I don't really know how these players work as well as Paul Heffernan would, like I've said so many times before. But I think that front three could kind of be interchanged. Like, Billy O'Neill could either play on the right wing or he could play up top. Achara, I think, could play on either wing or up top. And I think that Azende Niembo could play either on both wings. So I think that's a very versatile top three, and I think that that could win us the league, genuinely. With that attack, we'd be scoring goals left, right and centre, in my opinion. Especially with the form that Azende Niembo is in. He's running up and down the pitch so much. I think it's huge for us to have a player like that. And O'Neill will get past players left, right and centre. So I think if we have those two on the wing, or even Achara on the wing with his pace as well, and if Achara works on his finishing, because he's had a few chances, I think he just needs to get that finishing a little bit sharper, a little bit tighter. And then obviously O'Neill, who we know has good finishing, he could score some goals. He scored goals last season, he scored a few, I think he scored one this season, and he could definitely score more goals. I think that top three, I think that front three will win us the league. We'll definitely catch up to Cork if we keep scoring goals, we keep getting these good attacks on, fast-paced attacks on the break, and a really solid defence as well. I think Chidi and Osagi are our best two defenders this season. Now, that's not pointing the finger at Jamie Duggan. He's been really good. Jamie Duggan has been very good as well. But I do think in their current form so far this season, I would start Osagi and Chidi over Jamie Duggan. So there's my lineup. That's the lineup that I think could genuinely win us the league. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know who you'd change, if you'd take someone out, put someone else in. Now, I'm assuming that these players are going to be fit. Of course, if they're injured, the lineup's going to change a little bit. Of course it is. But if these players are all fit to start at the same time, I do think that these players will start over the other players. Of course, that's all depending on form as well. Depending on form is depending on fitness. And it is all up to Paul Heffernan. He's the one with the managerial experience. He's the one with the player experience. He's played for a multitude of different clubs. He was a very good striker, in my opinion. I think he did very well at the likes of Kilmarnock. But that's just the lineup that I would personally go for. Like I've said again, I'm not Paul Heffernan. I'm not a coach. I'm not a manager. So I don't really know what I'm saying. This is all based on a fan's perspective of the team. But that's my lineup. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you would change, what you wouldn't change. Up the Bray.